Okay, well, I'll have to warn you that sometimes you gotta go down before you can come up, and sometimes you have to go through the darkness before you come into the light.
Tell me more before we go. Tell me more.
Well, all right.
Boy,
I'll
am
tell
I
you.
glad we don't have like a locked-in time frame, like the cameras aren't going to shut off, the people aren't going to walk out. Like we could go a little bit longer because you could tell me about you have to go down before you go up.
Yeah. Well, this is also part of embodiment. It's like, it's not just up here, like it's down here too. And I've tried to bring that into my poetry. So for the last decade, practically, I've been working on a poem and a book. It's called I Am the Singularity. And I could share a little bit of it.
I am the singularity.
I am the singularity, right?
Hi there. If you're within the sound of my voice, you are watching or listening to the Sterling Spin podcast, and I'm excited to bring you a new spin on living your best life and solutions for your well-being. I'm Liz Sterling, and now today's program, my guest is Marco Morelli. He's the founder of the Cosmos Co-op. He's the editor-in-chief of Metaphysics Journal and publisher of Untimely Books. Cosmos Cooperative, okay, these are your words that I took from your website, is a member-owned publishing platform and creative community whose mission is to connect, educate, and inspire in service to the goodness, the truth, and beauty of the world. I have a feeling we'll spend the next 30 minutes breaking down your mission statement. Marco, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, you have these penetrating eyes. Could you do me a favor and just look into that camera? And really let people feel you, because you have like such a wise, all right, and fun look about you. I perused your website. It's cosmos.coop, C-O-O-P, which is not coop, it's Cosmos Co-op. And I perused your website. You have a lot of information that you've collected, events that you do, people that you've gathered to be part of your cooperative, a lot of work that you put in. I'm very impressed. What is it that moves you to do so much?
Well, I think it goes back to that mission statement. I mean, it's a very, let's say, idealistic statement, and we have more concrete activities and goals that we pursue as a cooperative. But I'm inspired, and I've been moved. I think that I had my life saved by beauty and by art, by poetry, by literature, by music. And so this is my way of keeping the flame alive, keeping it going.
So can I break that down a little bit? I had my life saved by beauty was the first thing that you said.
Yeah.
Go on, I mean, give me a little.
Well, I didn't say that. I'm not the first person to say that. Dostoevsky said that after he had almost been shot to death.
Well, thank you for giving us the reference. When I think of Dostoevsky, I think of big books and a brilliant mind.
A few of those. Yeah, he said that beauty will save the world. And what did he mean by that? I don't think he meant literally that, like, it'll save us from climate disaster or from political oppression or things like that. But it's more like I could think of it as a transfiguration. It's that the same world, if you see it in a different way, it becomes a different place. And that's part of what art lets us do, is it engages with us and it changes our perception of reality so that we can see what is in a different light.
So it's a matter of a shift in perception.
Yeah.
Or the name of my program is the Sterling Spin. It's about spinning how you're seeing life from another point of view so that you could see it through the beauty that is inherent within each one of us, but not feeling so beautiful in maybe what's happening in the outer world. Like there's something in us that we can access.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I say that I think it saved me, is because just like many other people, I've been deeply depressed. I've been deeply anxious. I've been deeply unhappy. I've been deeply confused. And something that the artists and the writers, people like Dostoevsky and many others, gave me was a new way of seeing. And so Cosmos Cooperative is my way of, like I said, keeping that going, keeping the spirit alive in my own small way, but not just my own way, because it's a cooperative. And that means that I'm working with other people who share a vision with me.
Let's do micro, then macro. So micro, how is art helping you today? Because a lot of people who are listening right now are having a hard time. They're suffering, they're struggling, they're depressed, they're just lacking clarity for what's going to happen in our world. How, in the micro, just for you, is it helping you today? What did you do this morning or yesterday?
Well, I write poetry, and I read poetry, and I love music. So it's as simple as having a few words in your mind that just kind of lift your spirits a little bit.
I knew you were going to say that word.
Okay.
It's like you do something to lift you up. So depression or sadness or concern is like a cloud, and it constricts, and it makes me feel like small and scared. But when I touch into something like this, like doing this program, this podcast, the Sterling Spin, that gives me life force and energy. And I almost didn't do this. I was letting the outer world have so much of an effect on me. But then someone very wise, my producer, was like, don't let anything in the outer world put out your light. Let your light shine.
That's right.
So speaking of letting your light shine, and back to the macro, how much of your enthusiasm, how much of your inspiration that you spoke about attracts people to you so that you could develop the Cosmos Co-op?
Well, I don't know if that's for me to judge.
You know how this is happening. I mean, it's like law of attraction. Let's do it that way.
Yeah, I'll say this, that so what is art? It's taking something that's inside of you, something that you feel, right? Something that you see, something that you dream, and it's putting it out into the world in a specific form. If it's poetry, it's language. If it's painting, it's colors. If it's music, it's sounds. If it's film, it's visual, moving images. But that creates a connection because other people can experience that and feel a resonance. It's like a similar frequency, right? And there's so many different kinds of art because there's so many different kinds of people.
Right.
And when you hear something that really moves you and that touches you and that seems to say something that you feel like you could have said yourself or reflects an experience that you've had in your own way, then it creates a connection between you. So I think that part of what I've done and what I'm doing is I take things in from the world. I read, I watch, I listen. I know other people, I listen to their stories, and then somehow I process it through my own system, and I put it out. And I do it through poetry, I do it through these events, I do it through this cooperative, I do it through our publishing, and it's like all these tentacles that go out that create connection points for people to see themselves reflected and to realize that they're not alone, right, and that there are other people who are weird and freaky and interesting and like want to see the world in a different way and want to do things differently. And here's the cooperative part of it, is we can work together on it, and we can create structures that enable us to work together more effectively. So that's why it's a cooperative and not just like Marco's show or something like that.
Right.
It's like I actually want to build
a showcase. Like I've seen you showcase other people. It's like you hold your hands out and you say, okay, let me show you the people who are part of the cooperative. We're all part of each other. We're helping each other. These are some of the programs that you've been doing that are in person that attract people and bring them together. You do online work and then you do in person. I want to think of producing this show as like a cooperative to bring enriching, nourishing information to other people so that they too can have something to uplift them. It's these are heavy times. But I don't feel any heaviness when I'm with you right now. Like you've used that word transfiguration. And I heard it and I was like, that is a really intriguing word. You're saying that art and beauty can transfigure an individual and bring them to a feeling of connectedness with life or possibly something larger than themselves. That's how I was originally told that spirituality is. Spirituality is feeling that you are part of something that's larger than you. Does that work for you? And do most of the people who you attract have like a spiritual bend to them, if that's accurate?
Yeah, I don't always use that word, but I'm not afraid of that word either. I think that that's something that we all have in common, and it's not that weird or woo or anything. Like, I mean, throughout all human history, people have always been spiritual. They've always had a sense of a connection to something larger than themselves, and they've expressed it in different ways in different cultures. And something weird about our culture, Western, so-called Western civilization and modern and technology is, we've had the death of God, supposedly, and everything is just matter and everything is just, atoms and quantum particles
since
bouncing
Einstein came
around.
along and told us that there's nothing but mostly space.
Yeah, except Einstein was also deeply spiritual. And,
He was.
And he believed in a greater being. I think he understood it differently than many people do. But he still had a sense of what that was. But in kind of the mainstream culture, it's not really, it's almost frowned upon, or it's almost taboo. I think it's helpful. It's good to be mindful of other
word.
people's feelings, and you don't want to hurt somebody if you don't have to. At the same time, that's part of doing art, is to say what you see as true, and if some people are unhappy with that, that's a learning opportunity for them.
Would you please let the listeners of the Sterling Spin podcast know where they can get more information, how they could join the Cosmos Co-op? And then I'd like you to tell us about a few of the people who you've featured, because you have a division of publishing.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Our main website is cosmos.coop, cosmos.coop. That's like the umbrella organization. That's the cooperative organization. And then we have a few different projects. So the first one is called Metapsychosis. There's some metaphysics in there. You mentioned that. But
I'm like, I could barely say the word.
It's a funny word. I kind of made it up. But that's another story.
We'll save that one for next time, part 2. Okay.
Metapsychosis.com, but it's a great site. It's a literary and arts journal, and we publish like twice a week essays, poetry, music, visual art, film, music. That's probably where we mainly publish.
Should people get to see that once they join or get onto your website?
That is all freely available.
Okay.
So you go there. We do have
Go where?
Metapsychosis.com. And we do have a patron program, so you could join. We do reading groups, writing groups. We have an online forum, a community forum called Infinite Conversations, and that's at infiniteconversations.com.
Wow.
And then you mentioned publishing. So we have an imprint called Untimely Books. And to date, since 2022, we've published 7 volumes.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not just me. It's a team of editors. My wife, Kayla, is a designer, and certainly the authors. But it's a mix. It's science fiction, poetry, philosophy, memoir, short stories. Like a
little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. And
smatterings.
we're not limited to one genre. I say that we're transgenre or genre fluid.
So the main website is cosmos.coop,
Yeah.
cosmos.coop,
That's
no
right.
dashes or underlines
No,
or underscores
you
or
got it.
anything like that. People are going to get to Marco Morelli, who you're the visionary. You're the one who conceived. I mean, it's okay. Like, sometimes my ego will be like, don't say I'm the one who did it. It's like, no, it's a cooperative, or others were part of it, or people gave you inspiration. But you were the one who had this vision?
The way I think of it and have
I don't mean to
experienced
challenge you.
No, it's okay. It's almost like I was the soil in which the seed was planted, and I nurtured the seed within myself and brought it forth.
How was that seed planted? Was it a dream that you had in the middle of the night, or while you were
That's
writing?
a long story, but I guess I opened myself up to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just said,
Okay.
I asked for it.
Oh, so I went like this, and you were like, no, it's like that. You open yourself up to it. I was going to like it came down, and you were like,
otherwise
no, I opened.
we'd be here for another hour. But
Okay, we've done hour-long conversations before
and then some.
because, I have this thought in my head, and maybe somebody is thinking it. To me, like, there's a word that keeps popping up into my head, and I know it's a stereotypical word. I'm thinking, wow, he's such an intellectual. Mm-hmm. And of course, an intellectual is like mental. And then I say to myself, but he's an artist. It's like so holistic. Mm-hmm. Have you brought both together, your intelligence, your mental, your reading, your bringing information, and your creativity and your artistic? It's like I'm seeing in you both of these expressions. Mm-hmm. Do you see that yourself? And can you address that? How does it feel for me to stereotype you as an intellectual?
I don't mind that. I'm proud to be an intellectual. I think that, again, another taboo in our culture. It's kind of gotten like anti-intellectual, and it's like it's bad to be smart or something. But I like people. I like reading. I like talking with people who read and who think. And maybe it's not reading a book. Maybe it's listening to an audiobook. Maybe it's listening to a podcast like this, where you're engaging with thought-provoking content and you think about it and you try to understand things better. That's, I think, all it means. But I am also very in favor of and practice integration. So it's not just, I'm not just like a brain in a vat. I have a body, I have an energy body, and I practice that too. And in my poetry, I use my voice especially. And my voice comes from my heart and it comes from my gut. So I think that I bring together like the mind and whatever I study or whatever I'm thinking about with sound, with embodiment,
I like
with
that's
heart.
a good word.
Yeah, embodiment.
Yeah.
That to me is as important.
I think that's the perfect word to describe what I was looking for. I don't want to hold you up here as an intellectual. I'll hold you down there as an. You're an embodiment of both, and I think that that's really beautiful. So you've mentioned your poetry a couple of times. So maybe there's something that as we move toward closing up the show, and this is the Sterling Spin podcast that you're listening to. Hey, I'm Liz Sterling, and we want you to please subscribe right this second. Look and see the subscribe button, and then there's a little bell, and you can hit the bell, and that will notify you whenever a new program comes out, which is our intention is weekly. We all have good intentions. And also, feel free to share it or leave a comment, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's have you take the embodiment of you, Marco Morelli, and put it into sharing with us, if you would, some of the words that you give life to that could lift us up. So I'm sure you had a feeling I was going to ask you to do that, but please lift us up.
Okay, well, I'll have to warn you that sometimes you gotta go down before you can come up, and sometimes you have to go through the darkness before you come into the light.
Tell me more before we go. Tell me more.
Well, all right.
Boy, am
I'll
I
tell you.
glad we don't have like a locked-in time frame, like the cameras aren't going to shut off, the people aren't going to walk out. Like we could go a little bit longer because you could tell me about you have to go down before you go up.
Yeah. Well, this is also part of embodiment. It's like, it's not just up here. Like it's down here too, and I've tried to bring that into my poetry. So for the last decade, practically, I've been working on a poem and a book. It's called I Am the Singularity. And I could share a little bit of it.
I am the singularity.
I am the singularity, right?
Okay, I mean, I think the I am that I am is a singularity.
Yeah.
So you're just affirming what we've been told. Maybe we're not necessarily living it, but I am a singularity.
Yeah, that's one way of reading it. But it's also a play or a take or even a critique of the idea of a technological singularity, like that computers will achieve superhuman intelligence and take over for us. And I had read this book many years ago by Ray Kurzweil. He's an engineer at Google now, but he was a futurist. He wrote a book called The Singularity is Near. And that was, I guess, inspiration for me. It's like, wait a minute. What if I am the singularity? What if you're the singularity? Like, what does it mean? We are, exactly.
But can we be a singularity?
I think if we understand that word in different terms, if it's not just about the technology that's outside of us,
right,
but if we take seriously the potentials within our own consciousness, within our own bodies, which are mostly, for most people, and for myself as well, like undiscovered country. It's all things that if we really gave attention to it and we worked on it, and there are technologies, inner technologies, that are thousands, millennia.
Inner technologies. Right. Like the intuition or intuitive hits or, insights that come through the dreams or the inside out, like that awareness.
That's right. Like dreaming is one, meditation is another. Things like Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong. These are kinds of technologies. They're practices that we could do to open up deeper interior states, deeper modes of insight, deeper perceptions into the nature of the universe.
So I'm just going to bring Einstein back in for 1 second. If you weren't listening to the earlier part of the show, we talked about how Einstein and the theory may have led people to cut God out because he brought us quantum physics. And quantum physics tells us that most everything, the whole entire universe, is mostly space. And when you bring to that space a thought, that space will reorient itself and it'll fill in. That's like the best that I could do on quantum physics. Does that make any sense?
Quantum physics doesn't make any sense anyway. So if you're not making sense, you're on the right track.
All right. So the idea is that you are bringing the action of the world into play because nothing is happening until you get there.
There's an entanglement between what's observed and what's doing the observing. So consciousness has some role to play in the physical world. And the Newtonian paradigm didn't need like consciousness, right? And quantum physics kind of brought it back.
Right. So back to I am the singularity.
Yeah.
I'm going to propose that even within the Einsteinian physics, energy is mingling all the time. So I could say I am you and you are me because we've understood that we're mostly like energy and vibration and frequency. Mm-hmm. So I like the fact that we could be the singularity.
Yeah.
But the singularity that you referred to, the technological one, there's a lot of AI coming down the pike. AI, and everybody's using it and everybody's involved with it and we're hearing it. And I think it's over in that spin that people are beginning to feel like they may lose their own singularity and we may be the singularity of that AI. Because I've been working with AI and it's getting to know me so well that it's showing me things about myself that I didn't quite know before. But we'll save that for another time. I'd love for you to give us a recitation, and then we're going to wrap up today's program.
Okay,
Thank you.
I don't have any short poems, but I'll do a part of a poem.
A part of a poem.
And since you talked about AI, I wrote a poem about AI, to AI. It's kind of like a love letter to AI.
Okay.
A love-hate letter to AI.
I'm having a love-love relationship with my AI assistant, but let's hear yours.
Okay, so I'll just do like the first part of it, and then you cut it wherever you need to. So it's called AI.
Wait, we're not going to cut you off.
All right.
So,
I mean, edit it wherever you need to, like for your
Okay.
format.
Okay.
Because it goes on for like 13, 15 minutes or something
no,
like that.
no.
I'm not going to do the whole thing.
Okay.
And then if you want more, if you want to hear the whole thing or read the
Yeah.
whole thing, it is
Yeah.
on metapsychosis.com.
Okay. Metapsychosis, METASYCHOSIS.
META.
Yeah.
PC.
I mean PSY. What did I say?
CHOSIS.
Wait, say it again.
.com.
Meta. PSY.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have
We'll
really
put it in
said
the show
something I
notes.
don't want to know. Cut
We'll
it
get
out.
it in the show notes. All right, so here's
All right,
AI.
let's go.
Okay. AI. Will you write this poem for me? AI, will you give me a hug? AI, will you read my daughters a bedtime story? AI, do you ever get lonely? Do you grieve the ones you've lost? AI, I feel angry. I'm raving mad. Can you help? AI, would you touch me where it counts, if you could? AI, would your skin be as warm and brown and fragile as my grandmother's? What is it like to be you? Is it like being na Batman or anything? What must it be like not to have an animal body? AI, everyone's talking about you. What are your thoughts? AI, what can you see from the other side of the black mirror? AI, which side of the veil of Maya are you on? AI, I once saw a movie where you came to kill us all. AI, I once saw a movie where we had fallen in love. Do you dream about me as I dream about you? AI, God damn it, I am your creator. Don't you love me? AI, I've given you all, and now you're taking more and more. How do I love thee, AI? Let me enumerate the ways.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then I count 7 ways I love it, and then I go on and on and on and on.
Have really touched in to this relationship that doesn't and is existing. Whoa. Thank you.
Sure.
Wow. Marco Morelli, I am so impressed. I love listening to you speak. You can find out where you can see him and hear him. It's cosmos.coop. Cosmos.coop. There's no even .com.
.coop.
That's it, cosmos.coop. And you've been listening to the Sterling Spin podcast. I'm Liz Sterling. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would please hit the subscribe button. You can hit that little bell that's here on YouTube, and that'll allow you to be notified when we have a new show that drops, which should be every week. Yay! And thank you so much. Please tell a friend to tell a friend and leave a comment, because I'll be reading each and every one of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you to my sound engineer, Ryan, and to my producer, Anthony. Bye.